Hi. Okay, chapter 16, the marketing plan. So this is now I'm wearing a hat, so you have to look at my crazy hair. This is at the end of the book, but since this is your big assignment, I wanted to introduce to you what a marketing plan is at the very beginning. So this course is going to go quickly, over the 6 weeks. 1 week's already gone. So I wanted to give you some exposure to what a marketing plan is. And then as we work through the short term here, you can start putting some things together, maybe rather than waiting at the last minute. Okay, so don't feel intimidated about looking at chapter 16. It'll stuff you don't understand will make more sense over the next couple of weeks. But basically, it's laid out pretty well. So I guess I just want to go over it and add some thoughts on this. The marketing plan has 6 parts to it: the executive summary, the business challenge, the market, the strategy, the budget, and the conclusion. And yeah, so that's kind of it. And let's just talk a little bit about what each of these pieces mean. So the executive summary is something usually right at the end. Whenever you do an executive summary for a report, so like in the real world, a marketing plan might be 100 pages because it's going to have a lot of data in there and a lot of really important stuff. But the executive summary is going to be something short, usually 2 to 3 pages. In our case, the executive summary might be 1 to 2. We're not going to have as thorough of a marketing plan as you might do as a professional. But essentially what you're doing is you're telling what the rest of the report is about. The executive summary is designed for executives who maybe don't have time to read the entire report. And it's actually good for anybody before they start to dig into the report. Here is the main points. Here's what we did in all the other sections, and you summarize it as best as possible. Now, there's not a level of detail in the executive summary, but it kind of gets to the key points in a rather quick manner. So after you're done writing your marketing plan, go back and write an executive summary, which tries to concisely tell about the report in maybe 1 to 2 pages. All right. So then the business challenge is really just trying to say, what are we putting this marketing plan together for? So in some cases, it might be we're putting a plan together for the next 5 years for a business to really want to expand in this area, or to focus on some products, or to become establish a position in the industry, or those kind of things. It could be lots of different things, but you're sort of giving a preview as to what are the important things that we're focusing on. Sometimes a marketing plan can be an overall plan for what we want to do with our company. And sometimes a marketing plan can be prepared for a new product that we're offering or a certain direction that we want to take. Let's see. Then the third section, really important here. This is called the market. And so what we're going to look at here is we're going to really dig deep and talk about who is our customer. We're going to define that target market that we're looking at. Now, we haven't talked about target markets yet, but brief summary is, who are you selling to? So for example, if I'm a Bally's workout gym, if you guys are familiar with that, or no, is that the right term? I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of the gym where, they got dumbbells like 200 pounds, and you are a super huge, strong person. Regular people wouldn't go into these gyms. I mean, they've got squat racks and bench racks that, people are benching 400, 500, 600 pounds. If you're not a serious lifter, really into weightlifting, you wouldn't enjoy going there. They're probably not going to have little dumbbells that you could lift anyway. It's geared towards the serious, heavy power lifter. So what we would say is for that company, their target market is people who are really strong, who are really into lifting. If you're just a casual lifter, want to stay toned, that's not the place for you. And they're not going to try to attract those people to the gym because that's not what they're all about. So in the market section here, we define who is the target market, who are we going after. Then also this is where you're going to see the SWOT analysis. Now you guys had an assignment over that, but for the big project, I'm definitely going to want you to do a SWOT analysis for the company that you're doing. Then we're also going to want to talk about who our collaborators are. So who do we work with? Who are some of our key suppliers? Who are some of our key distributors? And nobody succeeds in business alone. You have to have partners, and there we cover who our important partners are and how we work with them and they help us succeed. We also need to talk about the competition. You don't have to, if you have 1,000 competitors, you don't have to talk about all of them, but let's talk about some of your major ones, and who are they, and what competitive advantages do they have that we need to pay attention to and work around. And so we want to get a good lay of the land of our competition. And then also we want to talk about the business climate. So in the SWOT analysis, remember we talked about opportunities and threats. So what is the state of affairs out there? Chapter 2 talks about this, some of strategic planning too, but we need to look at some of the key external environmental factors out there. So the economy, is the economy strong? Is it weak? Is it getting stronger? Is it getting weaker? Technology, what is technology like in our industry and where is it going? Culturally, are things going on? Are there certain trends or certain consumer tastes that we need to keep up on? Natural factors, in terms of resources. If steel and oil are really important to our business and our success, what's going on with natural resources? Who has them? And, might there be extra costs that we're going to have to incur because there's a shortage or whatever? Regulatory issues, legislation, regulatory environment, politics, activism. And so we want to get a good lay of the land as to all these factors that could have a serious impact on our business. So you would address that in this section on the market. And then the strategy is the fourth section there. And basically in our marketing plan, what are we going to do? And so, through studying, identifying the business challenge, talking about the market out there, and, now adding all that up, what's our strategy? And here's where you talk about it. And from a marketing standpoint, what are you going to emphasize? What kind of promotions are you going to do? What kind of strategies you're going to have? So this whole section is dedicated to that. The fifth section, we're just going to ignore that for this class, but you need to know that it is important in a marketing plan. You have to have your financials. This is called budget. But it used to be people would think, oh, well, if I just got a great idea, it sounds like it'd be a fun advertisement. Let's roll with it, right? Marketing, we're the fun people. We just do the fun stuff. That's not the way it is today. Everything has to be justified. And basically, it comes down to a return on investment. So if you have a really great idea for a commercial, nobody cares unless, hey, okay, it's going to cost us $125,000 to put this ad out. Great. Now what? Well, we expect, because of research and data, that's going to lead to a 25% increase in market share with the 25 to 39-year-old group, which will translate to $200 million in sales, which would lead to a $10 million profit margin, which would give you a X% return on investment. So in order for anything to get funded in marketing, you need to make an argument that this investment is going to return what the company wants it to. it doesn't always have to, maybe our objective is to build awareness, it's to build goodwill, it's to enhance company brand image. Those are reasonable objectives too. But basically, we're in business to make money. And, marketing departments are charged with how do you position and promote the company in a way that's going to help it make money. So anyway, bottom line is just great ideas, fun ideas. Don't cut it anymore. You have to have a financial justification and talk about dollars and cents. And if you can't do that, your plans or your ideas won't get funded. And then the last section is just a conclusion. And just like the end of any report, you just sort of wrap it up, summarize. I mean, in a way, it's kind of like an executive summary, a little bit at the end. It's not quite the same, but then that would sort of wrap up your report. Let's see, I might have missed a couple of things. Oh, under the budget area, this is also where you would maybe you would talk a little bit about the marketing research that you're going to do and what it might cost. Decisions on salespeople, hiring salespeople, what their expenses might be, because this all comes back to dollars and cents, is right too. And we look at forecasting. So in the financials, we're going to say, here's what we expect to happen in terms of sales, projected in the future, and what those costs will be. And then just a sidebar, how do you forecast sales in the future? That's a tough thing to do because we're predicting the future. Some of the more common methods are, one, we might just expert opinion. I've been in this business for 20 years and I've seen these cycles before. I've got a feeling that this is what's going to happen. And if people are experts, we might trust them. We might do research, go out and survey people, do focus groups, and get some indications as to this could be popular or not, and to what degree. Sometimes in setting a price for a product, we simply ask people, what would you be willing to pay for X if it does this and this? And they'll say, yeah, I'd pay $20. I'd pay $30. We take an average of that, and we might say, hey, the research tells us people probably spend between $23 and $25 on it. So those are some of the ways that we kind of predict what sales might be, and we match up our marketing program to help with that. So that's kind of a short talk for you guys, but that's really what the marketing plan is all about. And that's going to be your big project, which is a part of your grade. So I want to introduce you to it. The last thing, and this is not so much the marketing report or marketing plan, but at the end of the chapter, they did talk about the importance of going back and reviewing your marketing plans and making adjustments. And so my comment on that is, we put a plan in place based on what we know at the time, and we think it's the best thing to do. Great, no problem with that. What we don't want to do is say, well, this was our marketing plan for the next 10 years. We're going to do it just as we predicted today, and we're not going to, go off the beaten path at all. And that's not what we want to do. What we want to do is we want to review marketing plans every so often. And it might be 6 months, it might be a year, it might, but we want to go back and look. It's like, well, this is what we thought would happen. These are some of the results we were expecting. How did it work out? If what we're finding is some of our strategies were super effective, great. Maybe we want to up our investment in those areas. Or maybe we find that something that we were trying didn't work out very well. Well, our marketing plan says we're supposed to go with it for another 7 years. Maybe we just say, no, here we're learning something and things change. So we need to change our marketing plan. In the marketing plan, we identify our competition and we say, this is what they've done. This is what we expect them to do. And this is how we're going to respond. What if your competition changes? What if they change their philosophy? What if they go bankrupt? What if new competition comes in? It changes the whole landscape. So this marketing plan needs to be a living document, and it needs to be adjustable, and those kind of things. So just, it's not set in stone. Nothing in business is set in stone. We make plans based on what we know now, but over time you've got to react to the environment. That's the way to be successful. You have to be flexible, you have to be adaptable, and you just have to continue to make intelligent decisions based on new information. So that sort of wraps up chapter 16. And this coming week, we're going to get to chapters 3, 4, and 5. So have a wonderful night. Bye.